What's going on, everyone? Thank you all so much for coming back to Marvin Alexis Fitness. As always, this is Marvin. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm very excited to do this episode. It's 5 tips and my advice for brand new powerlifters. So to give you a little bit of an insight, I've been powerlifting for about 9 months now. So I started back in March, really, but the bulk of my training started in May, and I've done 2 meets. I'm going on to my 3rd meet, and I figured, you know what? For a bunch of new powerlifters, there's a lot of things that they don't know and a lot of things that I wish I would know. So here are my 5 tips for brand new powerlifters, and I'll play some footage of my training while I record this. So my first tip for brand new powerlifters is to hire a coach. Now the purpose of this is not only to have a coach for 8 to 12 weeks to do your program, but someone who's gonna look over how you're doing your progress. If you're doing RPE scales, if you're new to it, it's very easy to get your ego caught into it and say, you know, an RPE what was really a 9 to be a 7.5 or an 8. It's also a great method for you to learn more about the sport, learn more about yourself, and also it'll become very useful for when you do a meet to have a coach to be able to do your 1st, 2nd, and 3rd attempts. Now every coach is going to plan their programs differently. Massthetics does it one way. I'll do gold signature training down below, and I'll also leave my coaches training. Some people are just straight powerlifting. Mine incorporates more Olympic style lifting with powerlifting with a little bit of CrossFit and conditioning. So there's gonna be a lot of different options, a lot of different programs that are gonna work for everybody. Nobody is the same. So I'll leave my coach's information down below, but having a coach is a great way to monitor progress, choosing your lifts, have a program to follow for 8 to 12 weeks. My second tip for brand new powerlifters is do your research. Make sure the equipment that you're using is certified for your federation. For example, the USAPL, I can use belts, I can use knee sleeves, and I can use wrist wraps. So that would be considered raw. Now, if you're gonna go in equipped, that's using a bench suit, etc. Now, some federations allow you to use knee wraps instead of knee sleeves, and that's still considered raw for their federation. Make sure to do your research ahead of time. Also, know the cues for each of the movements. For squat, for bench, for deadlift, do your research. Typically on every single federation, it'll have their information along with what is USAPL or what's not certified through their federation, but do your research ahead of time. My 3rd tip, which may be my favorite tip, is understand the RPE scale. So that's ratings of perceived exertion. An RPE 7 means you should have 3 more in the tank. 7.5 means you may have 3 more in the tank. 8 means definitely 2 more. 8.5 means maybe 2 more. 9 means definitely 1 more. 9.5 means maybe 1 more. 10 means you're done. That's RPE max. So the purpose of that, you have to understand it and be humbled. It is so easy to get your ego caught up in RPEs, it's insane. When you do an RPE 8 one day, the next day it could feel like RPE 7. It could be easier. Or one day RPE 8 may feel like RPE 10 like the next week. For example, I squatted 335 like a few months ago. That felt super easy. Then a week and a half after, the 335 felt like RPE 9. So understand and be humble and be honest with yourself. Don't get your ego caught up, and don't think that just because I did it this week, it's gonna feel easier next week. That's not always the case. Every single day is going to be different, and it's very easy to get it into your head, caught up with numbers and percentages. That's why I have mixed feelings with RPE. Sometimes you wanna push it the next time, but you have to be honest and be real with yourself. When you're supposed to go for RPE 9.5, don't go 10, because that can throw off your whole entire programming. I've heard horror stories where someone goes RPE 10 a month out before their meet, they squat 385, they max out a month before, and they're not able to do it at the meet. So be humble, understand the RPE scale, and be honest with yourself. That is my next 3rd tip. If this is going to be your first powerlifting meet, my 4th tip, don't worry about making weight. If you're not competing at an elite level, you really shouldn't be concerned with making weight. Your first concerns when going onto the platform is, first, performing all the movements safely. The next, go 9 for 9 or 8 for 9. Try to make sure you go in and hit all of the attempts. Try to get white lights on every single attempt, but don't be too concerned about making weight if you're not competing at a very elite level. I need to take my own advice because right now I'm in the middle of cutting weight for my next meet and I'm nowhere near a competitive level. So my next tip would be, don't be too concerned about cutting weight, you know, a week or two before 3 weeks out and you have like 20 pounds to cut. Don't do that to yourself. Just go in, try to nail every single movement as best and safely as you can. Try to PR, that's not the point. Just go in and have fun, meet people, be humble, enjoy the meet. And lastly, my last tip for you guys is don't give up. I know that sounds so straightforward, but it's very easy to get down on yourself if you fail an attempt, if you have a really crummy week, you feel like you're just not getting good enough, or you hit a sticking point where your squat's not going up or your deadlift's not going up. It's very easy to be like, you know what, I'm just not strong enough. It's very easy to do that. Just understand that practice doesn't make perfect, it gets better. You're going to make progress over time. You're not gonna be strong right off the bat. You're not gonna make crazy strength gains. You're gonna have really good days and you're gonna have even more bad days. You're probably gonna have even more bad days than good days. But when you do PR, when you do hit that peak, when you hit that new goal, it's going to be worth it. So my last tip is just don't give up. Keep going, keep trying, keep going for that next PR. Get into the gym, try to have a good gym day, go in with a positive mindset. That's the best thing you can do. Because when you hit that PR, when you break that threshold and go to the next level, you're gonna want to make that into reps. You're gonna see that as just another weight. So lastly, I know it's straightforward, don't give up, keep pushing, go and do your best every single day. But guys, those are my 5 tips for brand new powerlifters. I hope that is helpful. I hope you use this as motivation to go into the gym and do better. Please comment, share, like, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you found this helpful. Follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter at MarvinAlexis27. I am less than 2 weeks out from my next meet, so stay tuned for that. Thank you all very much. This is Marvin, and I'm out.